talking about solubility, so label your notes with today's date on it, and then write solubility notes in practice. Some of this will be review, but make sure to write down all of this information so that you can refer to it on future assignments, labs, as well as mastery assignments. So why is this important to talk about solubility? One of the biggest application pieces is we're going to talk about how you can get a stain out of your shirt. Some stains you might use one thing to get it out, and other types of stains you might need to use something else based on what molecules or what type of compounds you got in your shirt to begin with. So you may have heard the phrase likes dissolve likes before, and we are going to be talking about that. And what that means is polar substances dissolve in polar substances. So a couple weeks ago, you guys did the water activity on a Google Slides, and you drew the dipoles for water, which is H2O, and you had little molecules that looked kind of like this. Maybe your teacher showed you these molecules. And you determined that water molecules, or H2O, were polar molecules, and then NaCl, which is table salt, is also a polar molecule. You can draw a dipole because chlorine is much more electronegative, so you notice that salt can dissolve in water. And you know that from the real world too. Maybe you had to make salt water before to gargle it in your throat if you had a sore throat, or maybe you had to swish salt water around your mouth to help with the canker sore, and that was really easy to dissolve the salt in the water, and that is because they're both polar substances. So again, like I said, we call this likes dissolve likes, which means polar molecules dissolve other polar molecules, and nonpolar molecules will dissolve nonpolar molecules, but that also means nonpolar molecules and polar molecules cannot dissolve in each other. So with that information, likely you have tried to cook before, and maybe you notice that oil and water do not mix. Why don't they mix? Take a second, pause the video, write this down in your notes, why you think oil and water do not mix. Try your best. Well, oil and water do not mix because oil is nonpolar, and we just talked about how water is polar. So polar substances dissolve in polar substances, but a polar substance and a nonpolar substance cannot dissolve together. Instead, they create a bilayer. But what if we really need to get oil and water to mix? What could we do to make them mix for a short time? Write it in your notes if you know this. We can add an emulsifier. An emulsifier, make sure to write this down in your notes, is a substance that has both polar and nonpolar ends. Thus, they can help stabilize a polar and a nonpolar compound in suspension. And examples could be found in makeup and food, such as the egg yolk, honey, mustard, which is what can help you kind of in baking or cooking in different ways. I have an eye makeup remover that has water, it's water and oil in it. But if I shake it, the emulsifier mixes it up, and then I'm able to use it and get, all parts of the makeup remover on a Q-tip. So you probably have interacted with emulsifiers before, whether you realized it or not. So in order to understand this and understand likes dissolve likes, we must know more about solutions. So take a minute, pause the video, and write this down in your notes, these definitions. So a solution is a mixture of two or more substances, and again, likes dissolve likes. So for these to dissolve, we would need two polar substances or two nonpolar substances. And a solution contains two parts. We have a solute, which is the substance being dissolved, and we have a solvent, which is the substance that does this, that dissolves the solute. And an example of a solute would be salt, and solvent is water if we were talking about salt water. And how I remember that is, typically speaking, your solute is in smaller amounts and your solvent is in larger amounts. So if you were making salt water, you'd have more water than salt. And solvent is a longer word and solute is a shorter word. So solute, small, solvent, typically big. Pause the video, practice these in your notebooks. Label the following. So is water, did we say, was that a solute or solvent? What about salt? And then try the next 4 on your own. When you are done, you may continue on with the video. So we're going to talk now about the what factors affect solubility and affect the rate of solubility. The 3 things that affect solubility are temperature, agitation, and surface area. So temperature affects solubility because higher temperatures increase the solubility of the solute in the solvent. So you may know this before. For example, if you've ever tried to make crystals, you may have had to boil water and then added sugar, because when the water is at a higher temperature, you can increase more solute in the solvent when you have solids, but then lower temperatures decrease the solubility of the solute in the solvent, and potentially you've seen this when you have frozen things as well. The next thing we talked about was agitation or stirring. So of course, if you're like making tea or coffee, if you started stirring your sugar or your cream into your coffee, it is going to increase how fast the solute can dissolve in the solvent. Finally, surface area affects solubility. So if you were to increase the surface area or have smaller chunks of your solute, those would dissolve faster than the decreased surface area. So if you put these small sugar, particles in your coffee versus these large sugar cubes, of course, these smaller ones would dissolve faster. So those are the 3 things that affect solubility. Make sure to have these notes all in your notebook and submit a photo to Google Classroom, and come prepared with any questions you have to class next week. Thank you.